Hi everybody, this is Mariana. I'm back here to do the vibes inside for you today. Um, so I just start shuffling. I'm doing a full moon reading in the sign of Sagittarius for you. It has been the last 3 weeks for me has been a little bit troubling. I have had quite a cold, coughing, fever and everything. So something is definitely going on here. For me, of course, but I know that others have had illness as well. It is getting better. Much better, and I'll soon be out of this, but it has been dragging out, right? It has been a drag, you could say. So maybe something has been a drag as well. For me, it's almost a month. So let's have a look at that. Did something happen around a month ago that was a drag? Or that somehow changed something perhaps for you? Or what the full moon usually is about is when you finish something, when you come to fruition about something. Maybe you've tried to manifest something in your life that has been a drag in your life. And what I tell you about the full moons and new moons is that full moons talks about coming full cycle with something. You kind of complete a cycle. And with the new moon, you can make new manifestations, try to attract something else into your life or change something. So you could, if you remember, you can look back 6 months back where you had the new moon in Sagittarius. And maybe you don't remember what you tried to manifest, but if you have been manifesting something that felt like quitting a drag, you know, like something felt like you dragged it with you. But it was not really yours to carry. Maybe you are now coming into a situation where you have the opportunity to really see this very clearly, or you have the opportunity to get yourself out of something that may have felt like a drag. The full moon has a you could say full moons, the 3-day window where the full moon is strongest is from the 3rd, 4th and 5th of this full moon. So the 3rd, 4th, 5th of June 2023. In that period of time, the full moon has the strongest effect on us, and this is where you can kind of really think about something that you want to be done with, you could say. Something you want to complete or to say goodbye to, or finally making a steps towards perhaps. But it's something that is a change, you could say, probably. And you have the 3 days where this is probably, if you sense the energy and you know what it's poking at in your life, you have this window to become very clear on that. And then the full moon is slowly but surely continuing its process towards you could say, towards a new moon that comes later on. So 14 days where the full moon is becoming less and less, and then eventually it's half moon, you could say, half moon, and then you will have a declining until you get to the new moon. So there are 14 days until we get to the middle stage, you could say, the half moon, and then you have another 14 days where the moon is what we see here on Earth. We see it as it declines, it becomes less and less and less, and finally we have the new moon. So for the next 14 days you will have some of this energy playing in your life somehow. And you could say now it's quite the strongest. Maybe it's most visible right now, and it will become less and less and less and less and less. But for right now, you have the opportunity to really see it, feel it, or get acquainted with it and figure out what to do about it. So has something been a drag in your life? Has something been... Now, for me, I had this really annoying cold, right? That coughing and fever and, well, really feeling exhausted and tired and something. So again, something that may have felt draining, perhaps, right? Maybe you have had nothing of this, then you probably have a different energy around, particularly this full moon. And maybe this reading is not going to be for you at all. There are many other readers. You can find one of those then, maybe, that resonate more. But something that may have felt like a drag. Something, you know, maybe heavy or just exhausting, something tiring somehow, perhaps. And if you could literally quit it, maybe you will have an easier life, right? It could be something that really drains your energy, right? It's something you don't really want, perhaps, in your life. And this can be easier said than done. I am quite aware of that. I'm just saying you can become aware of it. And you can, like, really think about whether you want to put your energy into that or not. Or at least maybe think about the next steps towards something. Sagittarius, you could say, in its highest octave, Sagittarius is a truth teller, right? It's seeing the truth in something, seeing beyond the veil, you could say, and it's a fire sign. And it means that there's something about the fire that is interesting. It's the oldest fire sign. And for me, again, with the idea of the drag, like this idea of carrying some kind of weight, I would say that Sagittarius would be the one who figures out whether it's worth it or not. Is it worth it or not to drag this, to have this drag with me, to have this burden, or to somehow continue something, perhaps, because Is it worth it? And again, here I talk about the fire. I talk about your energy. I talk about whether you feel like you waste your energy on something. Whether it's a waste of time or energy, concern, involvement, attachment, even enmeshment, perhaps. You know, is it worth my time? Now I have a flyer here. First chakra. Archangel Michael. This for me would suggest something about cutting ties with something. Michael he is a protector angel, right? He has this sword. You can call upon him to cut ties with certain people or situations to help you cut ties. Now they are flying all over the place. I also have the Magician and the Mirror here. That would be Gemini energy. I have man holding a heart, but it comes out reversed like this. I'm not sure whether to take that literally, but it seems a little bit like I want to say with these energies, this is root chakra, first chakra, situated at the bottom of the spine. Root chakra, roots. This can talk about family, close family, perhaps, right? It can talk about the Magician here. This can be you, right? Gemini is your opposite Sagittarius, right? This can be a mirror, someone mirroring something to you. It can be, I want to say, well, it could be someone you know, right, who has strong Gemini here, perhaps. That would be, you would say your opposite, and opposites attract, so this could be someone in your life that you may have been attracted to, or who has these features somehow, may have strong Gemini in their sign, in their zodiac, but they are... Well, they could be mirroring something to you, right? They could be showing you something. You see, he's holding fire here, and he's holding something else over here. The Magician has all four elements at his disposal. Earth, fire, air, and water. So he can hold whatever he wants over here. If he's holding fire here, he could be holding water here, right? It's something about balance. It's something about what he wants to manifest. If you are in a manifestation process and you want to manifest something new in your life, as I just said with the moon energies, you can do that, but it's you're tapping into energy that is opposite than you. Gemini energy. Man holding a heart. Here we see, well, this can be someone you are attracted to, of course. It can be someone you have been involved with. But when it is reversed here, I feel like I want to say either someone who is not really involved with you, maybe it's someone you don't want to be involved with, right? That could be the reason why we have the cutting sword of Michael here, that that there's someone here that maybe once you liked them and now it's not the same. Maybe they have retrieved, right? I actually get, I almost get that, like, it's almost like they're not even loving themselves, right? It could be the feeling that you want to cut something that it's not offering you anything, but it's also not offering themselves anything. That's actually what I get. And the magician here could try to fix it, right? The magician could be someone who wanted to fix it. But somehow I feel like maybe you want to say goodbye. That could be a drag, right? That it could be a drag to somehow an interesting card here with all these doors. It is some possibilities here. What if you didn't have this to focus on? What other of possibilities? It's somehow I feel like, could it be an attachment? An attachment to something that maybe you've tried to fix it. I don't know if it's fixable. Mirroring numbers here, 35 and 53. Yeah, mirroring numbers again, and we have the magician and the mirror here. Someone is showing you something here. They're mirroring something to you. Let's say you let's say you have a fixer energy in you, a healer energy in you, and they are showing you the exact opposite. They are showing you first of all, a need for healing. That's why you get drawn to them. But also, like a wound that can't be healed, right? They for a healer to meet someone who has a wound that cannot be healed, that would be a magnetic pull, right? It would be very difficult not to somehow get close to it because you wanted to fix it or help or be, a nurturer, a giver, something. But you can end up giving into a hole that never completes. It never. You can give into a wound that never heals, right? It will keep asking for more. But what if you didn't have this in your life? Then look at this. Look at all the possibilities that would be there if you could somehow detach from something here. The magician could be a healer, right? They have all four elements, as I say, at their disposal. They're quite gifted. They can do a lot of stuff here. Change a lot. But I want to say with the mirror here, it's something that is, when the mirror is present, it's almost like you are in a situation that is draining. And one of the reasons why it's draining is because whatever you want to, let's say you're trying to fix someone who has they have a wound or an illness that cannot be fixed. But you keep giving into it, you keep helping, you keep assisting, you keep being there, you keep giving them attention, you keep staying. And as long as you do that, you're still trying to do something here. But it's something that never will end. It will never. They keep, and if it's not an illness, maybe it's simply that they are not opening up their heart, right? They keep shutting the door here to their heart, right? You keep giving and giving and giving them attention and nurture and care, and you hope for them to open, right? But they're not doing it. They keep staying detached somehow, emotionally perhaps. And maybe you wanted to fix it. As long as they stay like that, you can be drawn to this fixing idea, right? Or healing idea. But what if you didn't? What if you did not do that? Maybe you're hoping for the doors to open, right? For someone here to let you in. Otherwise, I want to say, if you detach from this, what would that be like? Suddenly, the doors would be open. Yeah. You could do, let's say this is someone who is ill, like they are laying in bed and you're taking care of them, perhaps here. And that may feel like a drain, right? Like a drag. It's heavy. But you feel obligated to, perhaps, somehow. And it could be this feeling, if this was just suddenly not there, then I would have all this freedom and all these opportunities. But with this freedom also comes choices. Do you know what to do with those choices then? That freedom? Can you handle the freedom? Sometimes this could even just talk about routines, that you're living a life of routine and it has become boring, perhaps, right? And you thought, oh, if I just had that holiday, or if I could just get out of this situation, I would have all this freedom. But having that freedom also requires, perhaps, how do you want to spend it then? What do you want to do with that freedom? If you had that freedom, would you be able to change your life anyway? I heard someone once who said that, and he was speaking of experience, because he was at some point homeless. And he said, if someone had gave me $1 million at that time when I was homeless and I was drinking, well, I would probably just have drunken myself to death, because I wouldn't be able to know how to improve my life anyway. So what are we talking about here, right? I want to say this root chakra can be family related trauma also. Of course, we can say that you have overcome something. That could be the completion cycle of the full moon. That you have managed to cut ties. You have used your skills here. You have used something to change something here, right? We could talk about the magician and the mirror as the table have turned, that you have shifted the energy from, maybe you were a giver at some point, and now you are more of a receiver, right? Or you were once someone who was weak or weaker in a situation, and now you're shifting the energy, turning the tables with the mirroring here to show someone that maybe they don't have the same power over you. You are no longer engaging in something. You have cut ties to something here. So take it how it resonates, right? It's not really that it can go both ways. Maybe I'm talking about a person you know here. Again, and whatever you are shifting here, it's opening new doors for you or for them or for the entire family, perhaps. When we cut something here, it may mean that it involves more than you, especially if we talk about roots here. Family ties, family bonds. As I say, family entanglements. But there's definitely something about the heart here, right? But because here he's holding a heart, offering it perhaps. Offering commitment, offering love. Here he's not really, he's closing more off and not giving or it's conditional, right? It's if you do this, then I can open my heart, then I can love you, then I can be there. I believe in the world we mostly have conditional love. We don't really know what unconditional love is. We all want it somehow, I think, but not necessarily prepared to give it as well. We would like to receive it, but not necessarily give it. Okay, let's have the other cards out here to see what else we have. So I'm just turning the cards here for you so you can see them a little bit better, perhaps. I hope you can see them all right in the camera here. Yeah, just trying to put them out here. So the first card here from my Lemuria deck is the Portal Keeper. So the Portal Keeper, I actually feel like it refers very much to what I just called a conditional love situation. That it's like the portal to something has a keeper. So the portal to your heart, you have a protector here that is saying, if someone is not willing to offer something here or is closing their heart off, I may be careful, right? Maybe I need to protect myself a little bit, so you have a keeper here, as does this one. For now, the keeper is closing the door, right? And maybe you are doing the same. So that could be the mirroring thing here that is going on. Maybe you realize, I have tried to make someone love me, but in all that time I kept my heart safe because I didn't want to get wounded, right? So I had a keeper. I was protecting myself, as are they here. They are also protecting themselves. As long and the keeper here is waiting for a passionate offer here. Ace of Gabriel. Yes, this would be Ace of Wands. A passionate new beginning of something. A gift of passion, opportunity, and inspiration. The chance to do something amazing. A sense of wonder. So this would be the new beginning of something passionate. Having a little more light here, perhaps, like that. A new beginning of something passionate, right? So there's this feeling that I want the portal to open and have a new beginning of something here. But the keeper is waiting for, you could say, the portal keeper needs to be satisfied before they open the portal. The portal has to be right, or the offer or the approach to something has to be right before it opens and a new beginning can start. So whether you are waiting for someone to make an offer here, or you are simply, let's say it's a new beginning in life. Let's say you just got a new job in a new city, and you're waiting to find the right home, a new apartment or house. So it's like the universe should open up some ideas where you could live, right? So you're waiting for this new beginning to come out, to be embodied, to have that experience. But the portal may still, someone is still looking here, watching, being careful, or picky, perhaps here. Picky. Somehow I get the feeling it has to do with love. That there's no love here. And that situation may have felt draining. Maybe you've tried to keep something alive. Again, trying to keep the energies going, keeping them fluid. But I'm just saying, maybe it's not really. Again, it felt like a drag, like something could be a drag in your life. That it's a burden to put effort into something when it's not quite reciprocated, or it's not maybe even appreciated. Maybe someone can't see the effort you may have put into something. Maybe you are literally now with this full moon seeing the truth of the situation, that it was never love. Maybe it was convenience here with the woman holding a coin. 42 here, and we have 24 mirroring numbers here. Again, numbers that are mirroring each other here. Woman holding a coin. Well, the woman holding a coin here, it would be, this is something entirely different. This is someone who is offering something that I would call earthy. Someone is holding a coin here. I wouldn't take the woman and the man that literally. This could be a woman, this could be a man. Right? It doesn't really matter. We have yin and yang energies in us. So as a woman, I have yang energy as well, right? And as a man, you have yin energy as well. For some more than others, it doesn't really matter. So here someone is holding a coin. So are they holding on to it, or are they offering it? And again, here, are they holding on to their heart, or are they offering a heart? Or a heart connection here. So what does it really mean to holding a heart? Holding a heart. Is it your heart, or is it their own, or someone else's? Again, this is one coin, a coin. Is it their own coin? Is it your coin, or is it someone else's coin? When I see this card, I usually feel like it's a person that cares about tangible stuff. This is someone who thinks about the earthly matters. Money, security, safety. Spending money, right? Leisure time, What can I buy with my money? How can I spend my leisure time? Do I want a boat? Do I want a luxury home, a luxury car, luxury jewelry? How do I want to look? My fashion style. This can be someone who is interested in property. They may tend to look for rich friends and acquaintances. They are into the earthly playground, you could say, in the sense that maybe they like to own expensive things, or they want to be able to buy whatever they want. This can be education as well. I see education as this investment in your future life and job and salary possibilities. It can be anything that relates to, I want to say, money, what you can buy for money, what money can do in your life. Money can do a lot of things. Whereas you could say, can you live of love? A part of you can live from love. But when it comes to the earthly survival, we need a little more than that, right? We need food, shelter, warmth, connection, guidance. We need a lot of stuff, but some of it is tangible here. Something can be holding, or someone can be holding on to maybe their savings, right? Their investment, I want to say earthly living, the 3D life. Maybe you should have a look at the Aries reading. I talk quite a lot about the 3D life and the 5D life. The 3D life is, I can just say a little bit about it, but the 3D life is very earthly oriented. The 3D life is always constantly confronted with duality. And in that life we have everything that is has a dual or mirroring effect, an opposite, you would say. So if you have life, you have also death. If you have up, you have also down. If you have rich, you have poor, and so on. I would say someone here, this one, they live very much in the 3D realm. And they have that understanding. Time is linear, and there are ups and downs, black and white, good and bad, and they live in duality, and there's life and there's death. This is a protector of they live in more of a maybe lack mentality, right? They hold on to what they have, because they know they can lose it, right? I can get stuff, but I can also lose it. I can win and I can lose. Again, the duality. I can have and I can not have, right? I own and I am disowned, or I don't own anything. The duality is a constant awareness of this one. And that could also be what this talks about, that I cannot live of love alone. The love for someone is good. Well, that's okay that I love someone. But if they are not taking care, if they don't bring any coins to the table, for instance, we cannot live on our love alone, right? I still have to eat, sleep, I wouldn't say they are in survival mode. It could be, but you know, like they are very aware about the life and death. They are very much aware of that their day can be confronted with everything you can experience in duality, like ups and downs and good and bad and illness and health, and you know, they live in this orientation where someone in the 5D world could approach more of a unified version. This is, I want to say, a unified version would be not constantly living with the outer specters of something, life and death, right? The drama of these very strong opposites. A unified, more oneness kind of energy would have a more relaxed tone to it. It wouldn't be that like either something is black or something is white. It would be more of a mix, and you would be able to draw upon both of the energies in you to somehow feel a little more relaxed, perhaps, about the situation. Somehow I get the feeling that someone here is maybe not quite prepared to let this idea of the 3D life go, right? It's they can seem to get themselves out of this existence. That's why they have the awareness here. That's why they look at this. Like this is a means to life, right? If I don't have this, if this is gone, what do I have then? How can I sustain myself, right? And others around me? It's a means to something. If I have this, I can create a different life, right? Earthly life. The middle world here is interesting because, well, middle for me is, what does that mean, the middle world? The middle world is not the roots, it's not heaven, it's somewhere in between. For me, it's talking a little bit about, I want to say again, earthly life. Middle is also, you could say, it's not rich, it's not poor, it's somewhere in the middle. We could say working class, perhaps. A life of working class existence goes with this one here. I go to work, I get my coin, I pay my bills, I buy my food, I pay my rent, you know. And that would be how I live my life. Preferably having that kind of middle, I don't know, I wouldn't say middle class existence, but middle. Middle, I just talked about this, if you could somehow unify these very outer polarities instead of living in constant survival, life or death, drama. If you could have a more unified, that would be the middle earth here, that you're not living in the sky, rosy sky, right? Where you are thinking that you can live of love, and if I can just gaze into his eyes, everything is great, right? You're not up in the rosy clouds, but you're also not drawn back into the roots of your family trauma or something. You live somewhere in between. That would be maybe more preferable, maybe more relaxed. That you're not quite Neptunian or not quite Saturn, like you are somewhere in between. You're not out up in the clouds in illusions and fantasy only, right? you're also not down in the blackest hole ever. That you somehow experience life from a more unified or middle balanced, you would say, that you have influence of both sides here, but you are living in a, you would say, this could seem a little bit like a bubble, like a protected atmosphere of middlehood, like mid or unified life somehow. That if I could just live here, and I wouldn't be too much up in the clouds, and I wouldn't be drawn down in the deepest, darkest holes of disaster and trauma, then I would somehow be happy. The portal keeper again here, I feel like, could be this feeling of, why can't I just have a life in here, right? I would like to have a keeper that keeps me from the deepest, darkest holes. And I would also have a keeper that keeps me from like flying off in the sky and have no groundedness at all. Can I not have a keeper here that kind of just keeps me in here, in a loop of something very flourishing? When we look at the tree here, we say that this is its crown. This is, well, a tree in itself is not very interesting if you can only see this. What makes the tree beautiful and majestic and special is this, right? This is what we find interesting about the tree, not really the roots, but how this one is flourishing, how healthy this one is, depends on the roots. So we can't really deny our roots, or the roots, you could say, the soil you live in, what kind of water and healthy environment is this tree living in, right? So we can't really ignore, if we translate this into our body or our life existence, that we can't necessarily just cut off our roots and say we don't come from anywhere, right? We do come from somewhere. Maybe that's what you would like, as I said here, like cutting the ties to something, because it's a drag. So if I could just cut the ties to my roots here, I would somehow be able to live a much more abundant life here if I didn't have this drag, like if I didn't have this here. This could also talk about that I have to get money because I do have a root net of roots here that rely on me. So I have to keep my focus on the money here. As long as I can provide money enough for my own existence here, and maybe you're also providing here on the roots here. As long as I can do that, I can somehow distance myself a little bit and have this life for myself, not thinking much about this. I know they exist, I know they are there, I send them money every month, but actually I would like to sever from it. Because I don't, or they don't appreciate anyway what I'm doing. They don't really care. This could be, let's say you have someone who is in a rehab facility, right? You have someone who is in some kind of health care or rehab facility. They don't even know how to take care of themselves well, right? Maybe they are handicapped, maybe they have a brain damage or something, they don't know how to take care of themselves. You send them money every month. again, holding a coin here, this is everything tangible. So this can be someone who sits as, you know, someone who is structuring a home. Maybe for many people, right? Again, this idea of the roots here and the root chakra. So this can be someone who is in charge of a big family, maybe siblings or elderly parents, you know, they are in charge of, let's say, pension and all kinds of economic stuff. They pay the bills, they arrange dentist appointment, and they are basically, you know, like a parent, right? They do all the parent stuff. They wash the laundry, they buy the groceries, they make food, they arrange everything, but maybe it's not even your own home, right? Maybe it's not even your own home. You would like a new beginning here. You would like something else to be present. You would like the portal to open for that. She could sit, you know, like in a pressure cooker here of needing to solve and decide and take care of, because nobody else does, or nobody else can, perhaps, right? Again, I had this feeling of someone, maybe one or several, who don't, they're not showing any kind of appreciation, perhaps, here. You know, like maybe it's, this could be someone who has like really, you know, like dementia or something. They may not even recognize you as maybe the son or daughter here, who is now handling, somehow I get the feeling of handling other people's, well, your own stuff, right? Your own economic stuff, your own, you know, like basic needs, cleaning and I don't know. But she's over involved, like she's holding on to the coin here is, for me, a metaphor of life, like everyone's life, you know, the school, the children's schoolwork. She has her finger in so many things here. Someone who is, what's that called? She could be a mediator also, you know, like sitting in the midst of a group of family, and none of them are actually very caring about each other, and she sits in the middle, like trying to mediate between them or something like that. I get the feeling of she sits in the middle of something, and there are these people around her, or stuff or tasks that she needs to take care of, and somehow I feel like it's not only hers. It could be for, you know, like for children, for her husband, for her parents, for her maybe a disabled a brother or sister. It could be someone sick, someone unappreciative, someone, you know, with a but because you are related, perhaps because you are related, or you somehow feel an obligation that you should be doing this, but you would like to get out of it. I want to say, you would like to get out of a situation here. It could be a situation where you realize what I have been part of, there is no love here. Someone is only concerned with the money I bring to the table, right? It was never really love. So everything I've done, or everything I have, the money I earned, the money I spent on this, the money I gave, or the security, the safety, the housing, the gifts, the personal investment I put in this. I gave others security, I gave others, I provided somehow, right? I provided. I took care of stuff. I was a fixer, perhaps, someone who fixed, like, it could be cleaning, anything tangible here you can ever imagine. Fixing someone's car, helping, driving people somewhere, or buying groceries for them, but they don't really, maybe they're not even saying thank you, then maybe not even, I get the feeling when I look at this card and the story I tell you here, I get the feeling of like the vulture card that I, in some of the decks I've used before. The vulture is what I call the discouraged housewife, right? It's the one who cleans up everything after the children. She's not complaining, she's just doing it, right? Because she knows this is just something that needs to be done. She takes care of the housely chores. She's devoted to her husband. She's caring and giving and nurturing, and eventually nobody is really paying attention to her, right? Eventually it's taken for granted that she's like that. Eventually it's not given attention. They don't really care, right? They don't really care. Or, well, they may care if she was gone, right? Because then suddenly everything is stacking up and there's no food and nothing, right? But it's only when she's gone that someone actually realizes how much effort she put into something, right? And how it's taken for granted again and again and again and again. That's a little bit that feeling that I get from the card here. And then this, like, there's no appreciation. And this feeling of just wanting to leave, perhaps. Just wanting to leave because I want other opportunities here, right? I would like that something would change and that something could take me out of this situation. That the portal could open here. But again, when I get the portal keeper and I have the mirror here, you must ask yourself, are you holding back something here? If you could get yourself out, what is it exactly that you're looking for then? What kind of opportunities here is it that you would like to open? And if they open, would you take them? If we talk about this is someone who finally, let's say, they actually finally open their heart. They show you something here. They finally tell you how much they love you. They finally do this. They finally come back to you, perhaps. Or if this is someone who has ghosted you, they finally do that. They finally, offer to pay some of the bills, or they finally, I don't know, would you accept them back then? Would you take their offer? Would you appreciate it? If you really could cut off these roots here, or you can get new ones, what kind of life would you have then? It could even be the feeling that because I come from where I come from, I can only have a middle class life. the things I learned, the education that I received, the programming I received from my parents, and the life I lived, the friends I had, it programmed me to have a middle class life, to become a worker here, and I don't want to be that worker. I want to be rich, right? I want to have this new opportunity here. I want the doors to open. Why are the doors not opening for me, right? You may ask yourself some of this. If you're asking yourself that you have these dreams, right? The dreams of the new possibilities, the dreams that you want something new to happen, but you are not making any steps towards it. You're still sitting here, just holding on to the coin, thinking about it. Then you're procrastinating. You may be dreaming about, you may be dreaming about this life without the roots, the big crown here. Right? But is it they're only dreams here? The portal keeper keeps the portal closed until something new happens. So you need to make some steps towards something. Otherwise, it's going to be the same. She can hold on to safety here and security, not doing anything, not saying anything, not going anywhere. And it may all be due to some kind of situation where there was no lack or there was no love here. Still very attached to it, perhaps. And trying to get yourself out. Maybe you are getting yourself out here, right? Well, this is what you're dreaming about. You're hoping for this. That you can have this new beginning here. That if I just didn't have this in my life, then everything would be peachy and free and fun, and I would finally be able to do what I want. Yeah, but what is that then exactly? Because sometimes the reason why we stay in something is because there is something there. We can stay out of obligation and attachment. But what if there's more? What if the reason for you staying in something like this is something else? It's not shame and guilt. It could be, right? You have to examine that. Obligation, fear. If you could have all the possibilities in your life, would you know what to do about it then? Would you know how to handle it, to take care of it? Would you even be able to enjoy it? Sometimes it's actually somewhere in between that would be, again, the middle world. It's somewhere in between that would be, of course she should not be overworked. But it's okay to be attached to something. Right? And then also have freedom in other areas of your life. Sometimes, of course, if this is way too much, it's very unbalanced. Then you have none of this. But to have only this may create a new problem. So I will do what I also did with the Aries reading. I'm drawing a card now about a self-care initiative. If you find yourself in a situation like this, what could you do now and over the next 14 days to somehow remind yourself a little bit more about this, perhaps? Or even if you somehow could create this, become very clear on what this is. what would be behind those doors here? Or when you open these doors here, what would be there if you could dream about it? What would that be like? Because when you do that, you become more clear on your vision, on your ideal life. And when you become more clear on that, you could even write it down. You could draw it, perhaps, if you have those skills. You could write it down, or at least keep it in your memory. And when you keep it in your memory and you think about it from time to time, it becomes, you could say, what I sometimes call a Zen garden. It becomes a part of you that starts to develop alongside the life you already have. And the more you focus on that, the more you focus on that this would actually feel really great for me. I feel how my needs are met. I feel how I'm appreciated here. I feel how I'm accomplished here, perhaps. Over time, you will start making the steps towards it. Slowly but surely doing that. But as long as you're only dreaming about it and maybe too overworked, you sit in something here. From this position, you cannot have this. But when she takes herself a little out of something, she allows for a little new beginning of something here. By detaching from something here, I believe. When you do that, you start to walk a little bit towards whatever this may be for you. Let's have a card on a self-care initiative here for this full moon in Sagittarius. New beginnings, yeah. It says here, starting a new life, finding your purpose, and a forgiving and compassionate review of the past. Yeah, being attached to something and feel that others are preventing you from living some kind of life you would like to have is not going to help you. It's just making you angry. And again, also, I feel like, did someone force you to be here? Like, did someone force you to do all of this stuff? Or did you feel you had to, you were inclined to, you were raised to? Is it an emotional attachment that keeps you stuck in something here? Maybe forgive yourself that something overpowered you and put you in that position. Maybe forgive yourself for living with scarcity here, or fears. Accepting it's part of the journey, accepting that it's difficult, right? Difficult to handle. It's difficult to not fear, or it's difficult not to get attached to, or entangled in, or enmeshed in something. We could even say that over here she is, when she is concerned about the coin, she could be a bit cold, right? She's concerned about, as I said, the earthly matters, not really love, right? This could be someone who is not very emotional. Like, they stick to the plan, the structure, something rational, right? Something that is a good decision. Something is long-term. But it's not very emotional here. It's plan and structure. It's earthy. It could be a reasonable decision, being reasonable here, being wise and reasonable, making a good long-term decision or plan, right? That's what we have here. Especially if you're dealing with something that is... Can we get a card on this man holding a heart reverse, please? Get the beloved here, right? There's someone very close to you, someone you care very deeply about. And the heart is here, and look how it's like the hands are here to kind of hold the heart, keep it safe, right? These two could be parts of you. This could be your yin and this could be your yang energy, right? That the idea of loving, having an open heart is difficult. If I have an open heart, I can't be rational, rationable and logical and planning and structured at the same time. It prevents me from making good choices if I open my heart and I become very emotional here, and I become raw and I could become dependent, right? Having an open heart is vulnerable, and I can't protect myself then if I have this, right? It can be someone here who you care for deeply, but they are not really responding, right? Or it's not how it used to be, right? Perhaps someone who maybe they're not capable of opening their heart, and you are kind of... It's how the hands are positioned here. It's like wanting to hold someone safe, right? Wanting to hold someone safe, like I'm holding your heart here, your heart. Not my own heart, I'm holding yours. It's like a safety, it feels a little bit like a safety net, right? The hands are under this heart of someone. Like your protective mechanism, right? And I feel like wanting to do whatever you can, like by all means, using all of your skills here to keep someone safe, right? Even someone who doesn't know how to care for themselves, right? They don't know how to keep themselves safe necessarily. And they are not responding. It's unrequited, perhaps here, unrequited love. And you want to do whatever you can to keep them safe, protect them, protect whatever is left between you. Again, it could be the feeling of like I'm carrying this heart, because as long as I do that, we have some kind of connection. Even though they are not responding, I feel like here, they're not responding. It's like keeping a love story alive, but it's not alive. But as long as I stay connected as a helper or a fixer or then we are connected. But I'm sorry, again, the truth, right, Sagittarius? The truth is perhaps that there is no love here. They don't care. You need a beginning. The most caring thing you can do is allow for new beginnings here. Allow for something else. Again, look at this. This could talk about the new passionate beginning, a new loving, passionate beginning with someone here. That may be what you're hoping for, right? You're sitting here waiting, perhaps, right? Maybe you're writing love letters here. You're writing letters, or you are taking care of all kinds of stuff for them to make them see you, right? But they don't, right? It keeps you in a middle. it keeps you in this, it keeps you attached to something, but it's not really your most abundant life. You have a middle life. It's not the most abundant life you could ever have. It's not your dream life. It may not be a bad life, but it's still attached to something. Codependent maybe, or I don't know, depending on someone's money or income or something. Just reverse the characters maybe here. If you feel like that is more appropriate, but again, the portal keeper, we could literally take the word keeper, being someone's keeper, right? Being someone's keeper. Maybe someone is, maybe someone is keeping you in a middle, what is that called? Average life here. Someone could be keeping you in a average life because you are attached to them, right? You give to them, or they sit on the money, right? They sit on the money. They are the keeper of the money. You may be the keeper of money. The new beginning here. It's not coming. I feel this is a dream. Like this is a dream that she has, or someone has here. That could be this. That could be this passionate new beginning. As long as I stay here, I show them how invested I am, how much I'm willing to give to this. But they are not really responding. I feel like they're not responding. And you, a self-caring act would be to allow for new beginnings. Like, I don't know in what way that is for you, but I'm just saying that this is what the advice would be, right? What would be a self-caring act? Starting a new life, finding your purpose, a forgiving and compassionate review of the past. That would be the advice. Not staying attached to some kind of outcome. I'm not saying it's necessarily easy. I'm just saying this is what the cards say, right? Maybe it's time to cut some cords here. The new beginning you are wanting, you're looking for. Someone is the keeper of that. And this is when we put hope on something, right? When we put hope on others, I hope they will come back. I hope they finally see how much effort I have put into this, how devoted I have been, how much I've been giving to this. I hope that then we place the decision in someone else's hands. Right? They are now in charge. You are not. They are in charge. Maybe you're in charge of a lot of daily nitty-gritty stuff, but you're not in charge of how to open their heart here. They are in charge of the heart. And no matter how much nitty-gritty stuff you do here, how much you fix, or they are in charge of whether they want to open the heart or not. being nice is not necessarily what attracts a partner here. um, But the reason why you are doing this is because you love them, right? You want to protect them. You want them to be safe. You want them to be all right. You want them to survive, maybe even if we talk about this like life and death way of thinking. You want them to be safe. I don't know what this is. It could be a child, right? And you're the parent. Perhaps it could be a parent, and you're the adult child, right? Taking care of something. It could be a brother, sister, any kind of family member. But I want to say family here with the first chakra here. And beloved here is someone you care about deeply. And you really wish them well, right? But again, if this is someone, let's say this is a brother or sister, and they have been on drugs most of their life, and they are in a rehab facility at the moment, right? You care for them, but it's like an unrequited. All they want from you is your money, perhaps, right? So they can get a new high. You know, that kind of feeling, right? It feels like it's not reciprocated. And that new beginning that you're hoping for, that finally they see the light, finally they understand, finally they see how much I long for them. If this is a romantic partner, finally we can have this new appreciative, inspiring, motivating new beginning, right? Finally we see eye to eye, finally we can get this going. I just feel like it's more of a hope or a dream. And as long as you do that, you put that towards the portal keeper. And the portal keeper is the one who holds his heart here. His fears or his judgments, his prejudice, his pride, whatever. His drug problem or his illness, or you put it in the hands of that one. Not in your own hands. But if you cut the tie to someone, you walk away from something here. You take the power back, right? That's maybe what you need to do to have those new beginnings here. But I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just saying that that could be what needs to happen. And you may also ask yourself why you're somehow trying to keep a love story alive here, or keeping something alive here, keeping yourself attached at this level, attached with someone who is unwilling to give anything back. I would say the hope here is probably not helping you. It's probably not helping you here. Having hope is not helping you. And Sagittarius is the truth teller, right? So the truth teller says here, you should give yourself new beginnings, because what you are attached to here is not really... You can stay attached for the rest of your life here. And I think the reason why is because it feels very rude. it feels like family, right? It feels like it could be the one you are married to, right? Your partner. The bonds of this of marriage, the bond of family, it's very root. It's primal. It's the its core, I want to say, and therefore it's difficult to release it or to say goodbye to it. It doesn't feel right. Or something like, but if I actually cut the ties and I walked away, I traveled to the other side of the country, right? I block my phone, I don't want to have anything to do with them. Will it make me feel better then? And maybe it won't, right? And if it's not, I simply want to say, maybe you need to own that for a period of time, right? Maybe you need to say, okay, but I actually feel like that. I do feel like that. So even though I'm longing for some kind of new beginning, I also know that could I live with myself if I walk away here? This is the answer. Divine answer. This is about your happiness. But this happiness can only come when you have become real with your emotions at this point in time, right? Right now. How does it feel? And maybe again, as it says here, have a compassionate review and a forgiving review of the past of your life, right? Have a compassionate understanding of why you're sitting like that now. What's the reason for that? And owning all of it. Owning the anger you may feel, right? Owning the despair, the feelings of unfairness, owning all of it, owning that maybe you hate how much you love them, right? If you could take this out of the picture, would it be easier then? Maybe to walk away, right? It's because you do care somehow here, right? And owning that that you actually do care, that you're not made of stone, right? That you do have feelings here, you do have a heart. Owning that, but also knowing, like maybe take a look at why you feel like you need to protect them. That you have to be someone's protector or keeper here, right? Someone's keeper here. This idea of being someone's keeper, I'm not really keen on it, right? Because I get it for parents, like they can be their children's keeper, but only to a certain age, right? My son is 18. It's like, yeah, I'm his parent. I'm somewhat of a keeper, but when does that stop, right? It's like at some point he needs to like jump into life, right? And stuff will happen, right? And it will shake him around as it has done with me, right? That's what life does. It's just at some point I have to like just release the reins, right? And know that, well, now he's there in it, right? Now he's there to have some of his life lessons, to learn, to grow and become marvelous, right? Not to get stuck, that I wouldn't prefer that, of course, but I don't know what's going to happen, right? In his life. I can't protect him always, right? I can't protect his heart always. That he will never have heartache, that he will never be sad, that he will never feel lonely, that he will never feel despair or heartbreak. I can't do that. I'm not even sure I should, because it's part of how we kind of grow. So I'm not sure exactly what your situation is, but I definitely feel like there is a need for also seeing what the mirror is about. That you can just as well cut someone. Again, the new beginning here would be that now you are cutting. If they are not reciprocating and ghosting you or not responding, if you take the mirror aspect here of that and put it into your own life, and you decide, I want new beginnings, what are you doing now then? You are doing exactly what they are doing. If you want new beginnings, you have to step away, right? The new beginnings come when you decide, I want to go somewhere else. I am doing differently. I'm becoming, you could say, maybe less reliable. I'm no longer taking care of all their business and all their stuff and all the laundry, and the vulture, as I said, is like pent up, overworked housewife, right? Or mother. And nobody cares, nobody pays attention. I become less reliable. I take trips where they don't know where I am, right? I do some of this stuff. And when I do that, I cannot be her at the same time. So I'm changing something about her to have the new beginnings. I'm changing something about her. And this is where the mirror effect, like you're turning, you're doing something with the energies. Maybe this one is going to notice. Suddenly she's not there. Suddenly there's no food on the table. Maybe he will actually notice. And if he's not noticing, not saying anything, or not confronting you, or not coming forward, not explaining or not asking, you will definitely know that he doesn't care, right? And if he's coming forward, what is he saying then? If he comes forward, is it going to be from a loving place, a respectful place, or is he just blaming, raging, being angry, whatever, right? You will know then what kind of person this is. And if it's worth being involved in it, again, as I said in the beginning, is this a drag? Have I been dragging this along? It could be that you're trying to keep someone safe here, like you're fearing for their safety, literally. Like carrying someone around, like I need to carry, I have the burden of feeling that I need to keep someone safe. By all means, at all times. This is very difficult, because if this is a person that exists in the world, as I said just with my son, right, he has to go out there, right? I can't lock him up in a room to keep him safe, right? That's not a life. That's not. I wish for him to be safe. I wish for him to have a good life, as I said, but I can't not have him live life. I can't not have him experience stuff. Even the stuff that hurts him. I still have to somehow let him have those experiences. So the mirroring part comes forward when you start to do something else, when you start to take different action. And it may feel awful, like you may feel like you betray everyone or you are the worst person ever. Becoming unreliable is maybe like really not what you want. It's not the signal you want to send to someone here, right? Especially someone you're protecting. Like becoming an unpredictable or unreliable protector. How can you protect if you become unreliable, right? And this is something you have to allow in your own perception. You have to allow yourself not to be that protector or keeper here. Maybe you would say this has to do with that someone else is taking over, like social services or, as I said, a rehab facility. Maybe an elderly care facility, that there are people there that now become the primary keepers, right? That they take over. That they take over. Let's say you have a disabled child that is now, as I said, 18, 19, 20. They have now become so like maybe they need special care now, right? That you can't deal with it alone. They're too heavy to carry, right? Your body is drained by this task of washing them and cleaning them and giving them clothes on and like taking care of their day, driving them to physical training and all kinds of doctor appointments. There's no room for your own life, right? Being very devoted to that and very practical and very earthy and very, but it's not giving you a life, right? Maybe both of you need new beginnings here. That's what I feel like. It's like everyone have batteries, and at some point those batteries, maybe they are used. You have no more to give, or it allows you to have only one kind of existence. An existence that is some kind of bubble. Everything concerns only about this bubble. You can't have anything else, right? And there's someone who is a keeper of this. So a keeper of some kind of structure that has worked up till now, but maybe it's not supposed to be kept anymore. Like maybe some ties need to be severed here for new doors to open, maybe for both of you, right? Or all of you. Or the door to freedom, you could say here, right? It could even be, let's say that this one is someone in a rehab facility. And when they get out again here, when the door opens for them and they get out again, how are they continuing their life now? Will they go back to the drugs immediately or the drinking or whatever? And it puts you right back in that situation where maybe you're someone's guardian here, right? Someone's keeper, guardian. And do you want that? Do you want to be that guardian? Again, maybe you care for them and you want to keep them safe here, but do you want that responsibility, or should this be divided between more than only, not just you, but someone else? Maybe, as I said, some facility, maybe some kind of caretaker facility or something. Do you want Do you need help? I could say here. For those new beginnings to come into your life, maybe you need to make some choices here. And be very real and very true about how you feel and what you think, and being quite honest, perhaps. Because no one else may speak for you or take your feelings and needs into consideration. You know, like that's what I feel like. It's supposed to be different. Like you could have different beginnings here. But it's not handed to you. Like you need to do something about it. That's what I feel like. Maybe you need to start having loving compassion for yourself. Like some of the new beginnings could be that you need to have loving compassion for you. For everything you have invested, everything you have done, everything you've tried to do. Know that you can't fix someone here. You're not supposed to. Maybe you need to go through a grieving part here. But it's so that you shift an awareness from someone else here, who may have been very much on your mind, back to yourself. And actually starting becoming a keeper for yourself also. When you start becoming a keeper for yourself, you can have that new beginning. Because you start creating it. And this is also where you may change whatever this is, in the direction where you want it to go. This is what I feel like I have for the Sagittarius full moon. I don't know whether it's somehow specific, but I hope that whatever scenarios I have been sharing, that some of it made sense. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just clarifying what the cards say and what kind of message is here. And from here, I wish you the very best, because it's really up to you somehow. For this cycle to end, and the full moon is here now, I really think you have to become your own keeper, right? So maybe from being someone else's keeper, or you have your eye on someone and really trying to protect them, you should take that awareness back to yourself and start having loving compassion for you, the situation you've been in, why you were there, why you chose to be there, or why you were put there. But also to be caring towards yourself. Maybe you need to make some changes, or say no to something, or act differently. And adapt to that. Adapt to this idea that it is okay for me to go on this trip. It is okay for me to not make dinner tonight. It is okay not to solve anyone else's problem, being a fixer. It is okay for me not to do that. I'm not supposed to fix someone else's heart here. Not if they don't want to, right? It's all right to be a healer here if someone wants to be healed. But if they're not open to any kind of healing, you can't really do anything. That's a fact also, right? You can't really force them into healing here. And if we want if you want to force someone into healing, that is not really a caring act, is it? We may see that they could benefit from it, but if they can't or won't, we're actually just invading their space. We're deciding for them. And as a guardian, sometimes we do that, right? For someone who is mentally ill or disabled, or sometimes we invade their space. But it doesn't mean that they will love us for it. It's a tricky business, family, right? In that way. Yeah, this is what I have. I hope this helped. Take very good care of yourself out there. I send you my very best during this time of the full moon. A time of truth and becoming honest and real. Seeing through the veil of something. And taking down illusions. So be careful and caring with yourself and those around you. Love and light to you. Bye bye.